Welcome to Baker's channel where stories unfold, covering trials, dramas untold. Grab your seat, settle in, start the show. Courtroom clashes, the fun we bestow. Baker's channel, action's hot, draws and fun, all we've got. Discuss, debate, break it down. Baker's channel, just the best in town. Lawyers spar, tensions high, sparks fly. We laugh, we learn, dive into the why. Join the chat, have your say, it's your place too. Every twist, we're here for you. Baker's channel, action's hot, draws and fun, all we got. Discuss, debate, break it down. Baker's channel, just the best in town. Join the crowd. Baker's channel, we're live and loud.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what, if any, you are. And good morning to you as well, Jamie.
Morning. You and your AI music. Oh my gosh, that was funny.
You think you like it? No, you like it.
What is that supposed to mean? I like the song. I think I like it. Dave.
Well, that's Dave. You know him.
Mhm.
I'm retired. Oh, I'm going to stream the next day.
Yep. It's Dave
And
for you.
thank you, Mo, for the raid. You have a link if you want to jump on for this one. Good morning, genitals. Jamie.
Yeah.
Do you know a small town in Massachusetts by the Mexican Gulf called Canton?
I've heard of it.
Do you know they have a select board that runs their city?
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Do you know who sits on that board?
I'm not aware. Who?
A guy who killed another guy in a car accident.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That's
a guy
crazy.
who had unpaid taxes, which would discredit you for sitting on the board, and then he still got his taxes went away. It just happened. A guy who
That's great.
got money from Berkowitz for his election campaign.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And who is this guy?
It's a guy called Chris. Jamie, why are you laughing already? Nothing has even happened. The birds are chirping. Happy hump day. Arr.
Morning, Zach.
No, they had a town hall meeting yesterday in Canton, and we're gonna watch the local citizens because they have been there week after week complaining about how the local police have acted in the Karen Reed case. And after that, we will get to what I would call the most limp-wristed excuse I've heard. And I've been in politics for 20 years, and no one excuses like a politician. And it still isn't this bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought we should give it a try. Just then we have some other news we'll talk about later.
All right.
If you're ready for it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We are resuming our open session. We had an executive session earlier, so we are just resuming our open session at 7 o'clock. But welcome to the Select Board meeting of July 9th. As a reminder, this meeting is being recorded by Canton Community Television, and our Vice Chair, Mr. McCourt, is out of town, so he will not be joining us. So first item on the agenda is again public comment. So as I have been doing previously,
I can't boost it anymore. I'm sorry.
The public comment portion of the meeting is an opportunity to listen to residents' feedback and concerns. But the public
I'll try and turn me and Jamie way down. Sometimes that'll kick up the other, but I have the booster on. It's really, really low. I'm trying all I can.
Okay, I'm gonna mute so I can, maybe that'll help too. Birds are loud.
Public comment portion of the meeting is not meant to be a question and answer format. There will be no response to any public comment when presented. The public comment portion of the meeting is limited to 15 minutes total and 3 minutes per speaker. I would encourage those that do wish to speak to be mindful of others in the room who wish to do the same, so that we can make the most of the time allotted and hear from as many people as possible. Anyone who does not wish to speak or who is unable
It's not my mic that's low. It's the feed that's very, very, very low.
to speak due to the time limit may submit their comments in writing for the board's review and consideration. The select board will also announce the next open office hours at our next select board meeting. So that being said, we will begin our public comment period at 7:01. So, Ms. Smith?
Christine Smith, 50 Coppersmith Way. Nearly 1 year ago, I stood before the Select Board and spoke about the need to update the Select Board's administrative code as it relates to standards, policies, and ethics of Select Board members. After submitting my comments, Town Administrator Charlie Duty let me know that his office would work on this, and they thought it would make sense to perform a complete update of the administrative code, not just this one section, and that made total sense to me. I offer my sincere thanks to Mr. Duty as well as to Jen Kamelian from the Select Board office for all of their work on this issue. However, the revision to the standards, policies, and ethics seems to have gotten a little derailed. I'm not sure if it was due to an attempt to include other boards, or maybe this is going to fall under the Bylaw Modernization Committee. I'm not sure. But either way, we continue to see that certain Select Board members continue to ignore the spirit of the current guidelines, notably swearing at and threatening to assault an individual on the sidewalk right in Canton Center. I stand here today to renew my request for the Select Board to take action on this matter. You represent the town and all the citizens, not just the ones who voted for you. And yes, as public officials, you are held to a higher standard. This continued behavior reflects poorly on the town and has the potential to expose the town to liability. To be clear, this is not about the Reed case or any other matter. It is about leadership and leading by example. It is disingenuous to sit there and object to lack of civility when one of your own members acts in an uncivil manner with no comment or consequences from the rest of the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Hello, Canton. I'd like to reintroduce myself. My name is Colleen O'Neill, where I formerly worked at F&F Power Equipment on Walpole Terrace in Canton, Mass, alongside my longtime boyfriend, Jeffrey Farrington, a longtime Canton resident, whose father retired as captain of the Canton Fire Department. Recently, we were informed by the town secretary, Charles Duty, that our case regarding commercial vehicles parked overnight was on the agenda. Today, an executive session that was held at 6:15 p.m. tonight was held to discuss litigation concerning Walpole Terrace. Despite enduring significant harassment while working in Canton, Massachusetts, I have since moved my career to Boston, specifically working on Mass Ave, known as Massencast, where individuals facing severe drug addiction and dual diagnosis mental health disorders reside on the streets. The ongoing harassment from Canton, including unjust fines, unwarranted visits from a sexual predator, Canton cop, Eric Wade, and personal property issues involving another corrupt Canton officer, Charles Ray, who altered zoning regulations in 2016, has compelled me to leave the area. I now collaborate directly with the Massachusetts state government to provide housing for people with severe mental health illness. I have reached out to Governor of the Massachusetts, Maura Healey, and Boston Mayor Michelle Wu regarding Jeffrey Farrington's property on Walpole Terrace, proposing the construction of 40B housing for housing undocumented immigrants. The town of Canton has caused immense emotional distress to our business and personal lives over the past 13 years. Tonight, I speak out and hope that Canton residents will support a small business that has thrived for over 3 decades, contributing to taxes and community welfare. It is crucial to recognize that 40B housing in Canton, Massachusetts is our last option to halt this relentless cycle of lawsuits, police misconduct, and unfair fines that plague running a business in Canton, Massachusetts. This clown town of Canton has caused nothing but harassment to a small business and caused extreme emotional distress to Jeff's and I personal relationship. This harassment needs to end.
Mr. Colburn.
Sean Colburn. Mr. Chairman, I would like to address some questions I have for you guys, since we weren't afforded the opportunity 2 weeks ago to address items that were listed on an agenda with the reappointment of the police chief, and I had planned on going through and asking each one of you guys how you voted and what you, some of the questions you asked her were. How was the determination decided on to reappoint Helena Rafferty to a one-year contract? Did you interview and assess her performance one-on-one, or was it done as a group? Does the chief recognize the missteps that have occurred in the Canton Police Department investigation in the death of Officer John O'Keefe? Can you tell us what some of the questions you asked her were? What, if anything, did you ask her about her department's lack of following proper procedures and policies? What, if anything, did any of you ask her about the importance of interviewing, separating witnesses, and recording witness statements? What, if anything, did you ask her about the collection of evidence, the proper storage of evidence, and the chain of command on evidence collection? What, if anything, did you ask her about recognizing and adhering to conflicts of interest? You know, such as when the chief at the time, Chief Berkowitz, called District Attorney Michael Morrissey's office at 8:30 a.m. on January 29th and talked about the Canton Police Department recusing themselves because of a conflict of interest. When through testimony, we learned that the Canton Police Department actually did not adhere to this recusal. We had a Canton police officer, Kevin Albert, arranging witness interviews days later after they were recused. At 8:30 a.m. on the 29th, the state police took control of this investigation. Why were the Canton police officers in the Sallyport at 5 p.m. on January 29th? And why was an ATF agent also in the Sallyport? The ATF has no jurisdiction on this case at all. Yet Brian Higgins was allowed to be there. Who were the three officers that were not identified at 34 Fairview? Did any of you ask her how an inverted videotape was turned in as evidence? Did any of you ask her how 40 minutes is missing off the Sallyport video? How about the library video? And what, if anything, was done in regards to the testimony and the text messages read from State Police Sergeant when they were driving around the Cape in a State Police cruiser, shit-faced, and the Canton Police officer, Kevin Albert, lost control of his badge and his gun? Were they ever recovered? Was there any disciplinary action taken? I think these are just a few of the things that come to mind. This is your job to ask these questions, not mine. We are the taxpayers of this community. We should have been afforded the opportunity to ask these questions 2 weeks ago on an item that was listed as an agenda item. You were in violation of mass open meeting law. Thank you.
Thank you.
The library video is the video we were promised would show Karen driving by with her taillight busted. That's missing is, I believe it's 4 minutes after the police downloaded it and then transferred the media to the defense. Yeah, they gave a video to the defense that didn't have 4 minutes, I believe it was, maybe 4 minutes and some change. That apparently, according to the police, showed that her taillight was missing. And you just gotta love, what if anything? What if anything? And saying Smith-faced. Well, we'll talk about that later. And I'm gonna mute again. Hopefully it'll boost the sound.
Ms. O'Donnell?
The American Revolution began in 1775. as an open conflict between the United 13 colonies and Great Britain. Many factors played a role in the desires to fight for independence. Not only did these issues lead to a war, but they also shaped the very foundation of the United States of America. The Americans felt that they should have equal rights to the Englishmen. The British, on the other hand, thought that the colonies were created to be used in the ways that best suited the Crown and the Parliament. This seems a lot like our current reality in Canton. This conflict embodied in one of the rallying cries of the American Revolution: no taxation without representation. To me, this sounds like our current day Canton. While we pay all our taxes, our services, leaders, and police departments only service the entitled, selected few, while those entitled in our governance try to silence our concerns. Another driving force behind the revolution was an outcry against the judicial system that was in place, offering yet another airy comparison, ironically enough, involving 6 British soldiers. After 6 British soldiers were acquitted and 2 dishonorably discharged for the Boston Massacre, the British government changed the rules. From then on, officers accused of any offense in the colonies would be sent to England for trial. This meant that fewer witnesses would be on hand to give their accounts of the events and led to even fewer convictions. Wouldn't it be nice to watch Proctor's hearings for his indiscretions? This makes matters even worse. Jury trials were replaced with verdicts and punishments handed down directly by colony judges. Over time, the colonial authorities lost power over this as well, because the judges were known to be chosen, paid, and supervised by the British government. Again, dauntingly familiar. The right to a fair trial by jury of their peers was no longer possible to many. John Adams once said, "Facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or the dictates of our passions, they cannot alter the state of the facts and the evidence." What frightens me most is even after watching the same trial for 10 weeks, so many still blindly trust and follow the corrupt and avoid the facts and evidence that.
Tom, I said it before, I can't boost it anymore. That's why I'm not talking, so you can turn up in your end.
Would have convicted Karen Reed. There is lack of it. To bring justice for John O'Keefe. Rather, they chose to keep supporting those who have factually been proven to be corrupt and dirty.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell.
To those
Ms. O'Donnell, that's it.
who find our fight for
O'Donnell,
truth,
I'm going to ask you to
justice,
settle
and
down.
our American rights
I'm going to ask you to leave,
so
Ms. O'Donnell.
unacceptable to tonight. I
Officer.
quote Captain John Paul Jones, 1779. I have not begun to fight.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell.
Was someone saying bye-bye? Bye-bye? I believe this lady is forcefully removed off camera, but you can see it. I saw a video on Twitter where the police officer manhandles her to make her leave the room because she went 22 seconds over time. Seems a bit excessive. So yeah, it doesn't seem like it's a good meeting for the select board.
I'm following the rules. We live in America, dude. Question
Right.
upon history.
Ms. O'Donnell, please.
Talking to me, but I will stay quiet. No need to leave. Exercising my First Amendment.
Ms. O'Donnell.
Okay, I'm going to speak. I'm going to speak now.
Ms. O'Donnell, you're being disruptive to the meeting. I'm asking you to leave. Thank you. Thank you.
I have nothing to leave for. I haven't broken any laws.
Okay,
I'm answering you.
So they don't have one cruiser to secure a crime scene where a police officer was found dead, but they have 5 cruisers to show up to get one woman out because she talked 22 seconds too long, and then when people harassed her in the room, said something back. No wonder they need 300,000 for a new kitchen and can't do a internal investigation. No, Chris Albert, we will hear from him in a second.
I said I would stand here quietly. I will stand here quietly.
She only went over a few minutes, a minute. Okay, come on, we're in crisis. I know it's my imagination. I know it's my imagination.
All right, folks, please be respectful. Ms. Lombardi, this is it.
Yes, thank you. Okay, listen, Rita Lombardi, and I can't believe I'm standing here about to say what I'm going to say. My ancestry goes back in this town to the very early 1900s, and I've always had respect for the Canton Police and the Fire Department because my ancestors served on them proudly, and I always admired them. And I'm shocked that I'm having this discussion right now. But anyways, the issues that we've had in town relate to safety and trust issues. And last week or whatever, you approved the police chief's contract, and many of us were opposed to that. And I just want to share some of the reasons why we have trust issues here. In 2018, the Canton Police Department responded to a car accident on Pleasant Street near Meadows, but did not locate the driver. An hour or so later, a passerby located the body of Craig Casey. This last year, when questioned by a concerned citizen, Chief Rafferty's response was, it wouldn't have made a difference to his survival. Instead of owning this failure, that was her explanation. In 2021, the Canton Police Department ruled Sandra Birchmore's death a suicide. It was recently confirmed that Sandra was in fact murdered, something many citizens already knew. Yet there has been zero acknowledgement of this policing failure by Chief Rafferty or an apology to Sandra's family that I am aware of. In 2022, the Canton Police Department responded to the scene of Officer John O'Keefe's murder. The mishandling of the crime scene, the investigation, and the evidence collection was gross incompetence at best and will be taught in criminal law classes for decades to come on how not to handle a murder crime scene. Instead of Chief Rafferty addressing these performance issues with appropriate corrective action, many, if not all involved, have been promoted. In any organization, rewarding poor performance not only damages employee morale, it increases employee turnover, both of which are extremely costly. Canton PD has an 18% turnover in the past 2 years. Oftentimes, it is your best employees who seek employment elsewhere, not the performance problem. If unchecked, your organization will continue on a downward spiral. In the John O'Keefe murder trial, we learned that it was Chief Rafferty who turned over the Sallyport surveillance video to the Mass State Police. We also learned that in addition to 42 minutes missing from this footage and people disappearing from the screen, and the footage was inverted, something no one has ever heard of in their life. 6 weeks it took her to report the February accident, which almost cost the man his life. And now we're being sued for that. And we're going to get sued for all these other cases as well. Policies and procedures are great, but there's no consequences when they're not followed. Just rhetoric that we'll do better next time. That just doesn't cut it. The Canton Police Department and this town is facing countless and costly lawsuits as a result of their actions. We do not feel safe. And that is why. Okay, I'm not speaking for you because you're part of the selected few. I'm talking about me, common folks. I'm talking about me, the random citizen. That's who I'm talking about.
Thank you, Ms.
Anyone
Lombardi.
who's related to the McAlberts, you're safe, but not us.
Thank
So
you, Ms.
stop it.
Lombardi.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Running over here. She's getting yelled at and yelling. And you can't break here.
Ms. O'Donnell, you said you were going to be quiet. You got disruptive. It is time for you to leave. Ms. O'Donnell, it is time for you to leave.
All right, can we just start our meeting? What do we do with her?
Can we just start our meeting? What do we do with her? Well, Karen on the board, maybe you listen to your your citizens, because it's your citizens who pay your taxes. So maybe not just, can we just start our meeting?
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And Rita is totally correct. Those who are connected, they are safe. The rest, nah, not so much.
Hmm.
And I know I saw a few people saying, well, they should have more time to speak. I think they put in that time frame because they knew they would have tons of people up there speaking every meeting. But when I was in city government in my town, we had an open forum to begin with, where we had it so people could ask a question and then a follow up, and then politicians could respond to it. And sometimes you had 20 people. If you had a big, like a windmill project or something that people were angry about, you'd have 20 people asking questions about it. It could take an hour, but it's the citizens. You are elected to take care of what the citizens have on their mind.
Hmm.
So you should do your job instead of just sitting there and say, can we get on with our meeting?
Ms. O'Donnell,
You ran over here while I was speaking out of turn. She just sat there screaming at the crowd, and the crowd screaming back at her, and you stay here. No, I'm not. It is unappropriate. No, it's inappropriate. Uphold the law the way it's intended to be upheld. I'm upset because I feel I'm just being. No, you're standing in front of me while everyone else does the same thing.
Ms. O'Donnell,
Do you not see that?
Ms. O'Donnell, you're disruptive to the meeting. You're being disruptive to the meeting. It's time for you to go.
I'm right, though. I may be disrupting the meeting, but I'm right. It's my fucking right. to
Thank you,
do
Ms.
so.
O'Donnell. Thank you.
Fucking Americans, people. Remember.
I should have a mute button. She has quite some mouth on her.
Thank you, Ms. O'Neill. Thank you, officer. All right, before we get on to the next agenda item, we have two statements to read. So,
And this is where the good part came in. I just wanted to show how Canton is for people who haven't seen these select board meetings before. This is how it's been for a very long time. No one gets any answers. They are complaining about how the city is run, and all these people are just sitting there saying, "Can we get on with our meeting?" Oh, and I'm muted, Jamie, so you can't speak. Oh, Jamie muted herself.
Oh, I didn't know you knew me. Yeah. I mean, this, like, my town doesn't do this stuff. So this is interesting to me.
Thank you, Harry Potterbeard, for becoming a muffin top. No, and it's a really good lesson to see, because how many people know who is on their city's select board or city council or whatever it's called? How many
Mhm.
follows along in meetings like this? How many would know how corrupt Canton is if it wasn't like for people like Rita and people like that who went to the meetings and make sure that the public knew how bad it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're paid a salary. I couldn't tell you. I'm 6,500 miles away, so I'm not sure. Peter A probably knows it. Probably. There is birds in Denmark, but the ones you hear in the background is from Michigan.
Yeah, they're my birdies. They're having a ball out there.
This town is almost as bad as Dalton, Illinois. I guess the one positive note here, Tiffany Haynard hasn't been responsible for deleting citizens, just taking their money. Oh yeah, that's the crazy mayor who claims people are just haters because they want to see how she spent the tax money. That's yeah, they are paid on this board. At our select board meetings, people scream at each other also all the time. Would be funny if it wasn't our taxpayer money. Yeah, but it's also very important for the local electorate to know who's on the board. And I, for one, can't figure out how Chris Albert, a small town pizza shop owner with a very, very, very dark past, got on that select board. Well, I can, but I can't prove it.
Because of his name. Yeah.
Yeah. It's to me it's and I don't know any of the other members. The guy looking like he hasn't seen a buffet he said no to yet, or the can we just get on with the meeting woman. They're probably I bet you everyone on this panel knows someone connected to Canton PD. That's
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Well, I do. That's why I say I have an idea why they're on the panel. Union is shame, no integrity, KIA in summer camp. Yeah, we're going to get to that in 2 seconds, Anne. It's his name and his family's influence. It's like that in every town, honestly. But how is Big Bry is out? Well, probably should pay the next 2 minutes, and then we could talk about something else. He was voted in. Yeah, by whom? That's why whenever a politician is standing up there and saying, this is the most important election ever, election has consequences. Remember, they have it even more in your local city government. Of course, it's nice to know who's the big boy who runs America, but these are the ones who have all the power in Canton. And most people probably don't even know them or vote for anyone. So yeah, and that's the big problem because I don't want to waste time on politics. It doesn't pay much, blah blah blah. I hear that all the time. I hear because I used to run for in Denmark. A liberal party would be a physical liberal, not like your liberal party, but it's the ones who wants to lower the taxes and stuff like that. And whenever we asked anyone doing business, they said, "Yeah, we can't do it. The pay is too low." Yeah, but if you don't do it, it's going to be school teachers and union members because they can get paid time off. And do you want to have them deciding how much tax you should pay?
Yeah.
No, Jamie and I have made an executive decision that Baldwin will not be covered on this channel.
I like how you said that.
Well, I asked you first.
Yeah.
Oh, and
this
you.
was-
Oh, well, that's a nice place.
Mr. Albert, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Okay, as many of you know, I've had two recent verbal altercations with members of the public outside of my role as a select board. Despite the tremendous harassment, stress, and anxiety that my family, extended family, and I have been subjected to over the past 16 months, my interactions were inappropriate. And as an elected official, I am held to a higher standard, and I understand that the residents of Canton expect public officials to always conduct themselves professionally and focus on the business of the town. I apologize for my recent reaction and will refrain from any further public incidents that are unbecoming as a member of this Canton Select Board. Thank you.
So he wants to give an apology because he got into fights with the public, and he has this prepared statement that he knows so well he couldn't even read it without choking on the words. Tell me a lawyer gave you a piece of paper without telling me a lawyer gave you a piece of paper.
Or just, yeah, jotted something down that you really don't care about.
No, these were words made to take the pressure off. My favorite internet idiot after Doink stopped, Caffey Daffer, is out today saying, "Oh, we shouldn't say anything about Morrissey. He's such a good guy. The DA's office is the bestest ever." And I'm sitting here thinking, really, Caffey Daffy? The DA's office that made an unprecedented press release, taped. All our witnesses are credible. No one is connected to the Alberts protests. Don't know anyone.
He wasn't even there.
They are running high PR campaigns right now. Anyone connected with the DA's office and the McAlberts are running defense so bad right now. And they have all their paid mouthpieces on Twitter trying to cover up how badly this Karen Reed case in reality was for them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's written by a lawyer. He doesn't admit to anything other than he had a bad conduct, and it was because he were harassed. Yeah, of course he will, because people are harassing him and his family. Yeah. Mushmouth Morrissey. Yeah. And yes, he did kill a man. And then he remember when Lally wanted to say Googling a lawyer is prove that you did something bad.
Yeah.
Do you know in 1994 when he ran down Peter Massago's burger, he didn't show up until 30 hours later with his lawyer.
I wasn't aware of the details, but I knew he killed a guy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Why didn't he show up till 30 hours later? Shouldn't that be something that's indicative of guilt? Maybe to have all the alcohol fumes vaporized, because
Was he
that's a
pulling
big drinking problem.
what was that? What's that Borowski case of the guy that self-defense and then he hid for 6 months?
He was looking for a lawyer.
Yeah, that's like what he did.
Well, we don't know if it was a DUI hit and run because he stayed away long enough so they couldn't measure him. But he got 6 months on that one.
Edgecombe, yeah. Edgecombe.
Yeah, Theodore Edgecombe came, yes. And what happened to Birchmore and her baby? That's going to be interesting to see if they're going to reopen that case as well.
That'd be interesting.
Exactly, Momo Shark. If he meant it, if he wanted to give an apology, even as a politician, he could have said, "I am so sorry for my conduct outside of this room. It had nothing to do with my position as selectman, but I believe as a selectman we should hold ourselves to a higher standard, and I am deeply sorry to anyone I may have offended. Hasta la taco.
Mhm.
Why couldn't he do that without having a piece of paper that he couldn't? He didn't even read it enough times so it sounded natural. And again,
No.
politicians are the worst in the world to give an excuse or give an apology, but this is really bad.
Oh, he doesn't really feel sorry for anything. You kidding
Yes, I
me?
know Judge Bev's brother got him off on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny how they go home. Who were the one who was it? Kevin Albert who drove into something and then went home.
It was
Uh,
Tim.
that was
The younger
Tim
brother.
Albert.
It was
Yeah,
another brother, yeah.
yeah.
He committed a hit and run and then ran
Auntie
over to
Bev's
Brian's
brother.
house.
Yeah. And now let's get to the funny part of the meeting.
Good.
Why are they clapping?
Thank you, Mr. Albert. An additional statement, Chief Rafferty has placed Kevin Albert on paid administrative leave while an outside, and please be quiet, while an outside independent investigation is being conducted relative to his actions in a case he investigated with Michael Proctor approximately 2 years ago. Kevin Albert was placed on leave on June 13th and will remain on leave until the results of the investigation are provided by the outside independent investigator. All right.
That was the thing that I found very, very interesting in yesterday's Canton Select Board meeting. And before everyone gets all up in arms about paid leave, it's a union thing. Even if they wanted to send him home without pay, they couldn't. It's a union thing.
Mhm.
It was the same thing with Proctor. Now they need an investigation. Then they're going to do a hearing. And then they will figure out if he's fired or not. It's just Nicholas Stauro will tell you all about unions because he's a union lawyer, and they have better lawyers than the city of Canton. So they can't throw him out without pay. Everyone would want him to be sent home without pay, and I'm pretty sure that Chief Rafferty really wants the Alberts and McCabe's to go away for now because she just got her contract renewed last year, I believe, and she's in deep doo-doo. Also, Chief Rafferty hit a man with a car.
What is wrong with these people?
Yeah. Nick Starrow says police unions are garbage. Well, they're strong garbage. And in Canton, it smells. It's precisely the same process with Proctor. And unless you can renegotiate a contract with the unions, it'll always be like that because the unions have power.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll the next time I go to the US, I won't be visiting Massachusetts. There's a lot of nice people there. I would love to go and visit Peter A. or Scott McGinnis or eat a mediocre chicken palm in Canton. But I'm afraid I would end up in court because I don't wear shoes inside my house, and it's probably because I'm guilty of something. Is that why they concocted the story with Karen Reed? Because they all hit people they believe she did? No, I've actually said this when we watched the trial. I think the reason Karen Reed was fingered as the guilty person is she showed up at the wrong time. They wanted someone to find him, and they would say, "Oh, he must have slipped and fell." But she went out looking for him, and then they had to make up a story on the spot. That's
Very
my.
possible.
I think that's it.
It's very
Good
possible.
morning, Tommy Lee. And Heather, welcome for the first time. We like first timers and second timers. And even
People
repeat
that come
offenders
back.
like Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 seconds. You can't say anything in 22 seconds. Apparently, you can say enough to get you yeeted out of a meeting. I'm not sure Lucky was going to be the guy. I don't think they. I think they wanted him to be found outside. That's why he's in that area near the electric box and the fire hydrant, so they can say he fell, hit his head on that, and then he passed away. Because if there was no that could happen in a blizzard with drunk people. If no stink was raised and they could just call in the EMTs and said, "Yeah, he passed away sadly," no one would have looked at this as a homicide. That's why I my main suspect in this case is Brian Higgins. After listening to him on the stand, but I'm convinced they wanted to pass it off as a slip and fall. Rules apply for thee, not for me. Yeah, funny how he didn't mind anyone was clapping after the statement from Chris Albert, but when people clapped when Kevin Albert was suspended, can we have quiet, please? So yeah, Jen's hatred of Karen Reed is what led to the whole mess, and the rest went along with it. After watching, because I didn't see it during the trial, after watching the waterfall video with the rhino dance and the rhino kiss between the two brides, and then Brian Higgins standing there, I believe John was in the house, and Brian Higgins showed him the text did something, and it went down. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know when, but that's what I would, if I had been a lead investigator, that would be my theory. Miss Mandy
Well, you
reacts. Wow, they
would have
can't
at
drive in
least looked
Canton.
into it. You know,
No one can drive in Canton, especially if it's slightly snowing. But it's because they never had snow before in Massachusetts. Situated near the equator as it is, they've never seen it before. And for those of you who are new here, it's a joke I came up with because they always talked about the snow. Can someone explain to me why the video at the bar where Higgins is signaling John to go fight and give him the finger wasn't shown in court? No, because I couldn't remember seeing that part in the video. But it'll be, I bet you, after seeing how much traction it has gotten on X or Twitter or whatever we call it now, that will be a part of the second trial, if there will ever be a trial. Yeah, but union rules. Would McAlbert cover it up if it was just an accident resulting from Chloe attacking John? Would they have some liability if it happened inside their house? Could they? I don't know. But I don't think Chloe was the first one to attack him. I think Brian Higgins did something. And I might even think in Minecraft, and don't sue me, and I don't know anything, some 17-year-old hothead who might have been drunk as a skunk because it runs in the family started pushing someone. That's I was against a lot of the conspiracy theories in the beginning because I wanted to see the evidence. I'm pretty sure Higgins and a certain 17-year-old might have something to answer for when they meet their Lord and Savior. Paul O'Keefe was charged with DUI and hit and run, and Karen Reed bailed him out. Yes, we covered that last week. I think we talked about it after his interview, where he was sitting there and talking about how great Proctor was the day before Proctor was suspended without pay, and how bad the Alberts have had it. But he forgot, without Karen Reed, he would have spent a lot longer in prison. There supposedly is a second interview with him. I haven't found the full interview. I would really like to see if he keeps going with that one.
Yeah,
I am
it's the
not going
same.
back
I've
to the
seen it.
Alec. I am not going back to Alec Baldwin. I think it'll be a lot of lawyers arguing, not much interesting in the case. So I will let very competent people. I can personally recommend Ian Runkle, one of the smartest cookies to come out of Canada. Did Brian Albert own the black Ford Edge that parked in front of home near the fire hydrant? It was a light Ford Edge, I believe, and 3 different people in that family had a Ford Edge. Yeah, and especially if that dog bite led to him falling down some stairs and hitting his head and passing away. So that's why you take him out the basement door, throw him over by the utility closet, and say he might have fallen asleep and hit his head. I would do. I would, of course, I would never do that, but that would be
You're
my
gonna say I
explanation.
would.
Carol, I don't know what that plowing the driveway was. That was such a stupid thing to say, because there was no snow. We all know that.
Yeah, there was barely any snow on the ground.
I can't find any information about that, Ronnie. I know a lot of people have talked about some drugs and stuff like that, but I haven't seen anything concrete about it. Yeah, that's another rumor. I can't confirm it, so I'm when I'm speculating from what I saw in the trial. I know there's a lot of rumors out there about what might have happened, but I'm not. I don't want to go too far into the woods. But why was Kevin Albert sent home, Jamie? Is what you're asking me.
Yeah.
I think it's related to this part of Michael Proctor's testimony.
Shocking.
Trooper Proctor, after you knew that Canton Police Department was conflicted off the case, you continued to have a very close relationship with yet another Albert, Kevin Albert, correct?
We worked on a cold case together.
So you did have a close personal and professional relationship with Kevin Albert, didn't you?
I'd say it was a professional relationship.
Only a professional relationship?
Him and I were members at a gym together, and we worked a cold case together for several months.
Drinking, socializing, maybe?
Once in a while.
Right. So it went beyond professional, right?
Yeah, acquaintances.
Drinking acquaintances, right?
Jamie, how many acquaintances do you have?
A ton, I guess.
But do you use that word? I have
No.
acquaintances at the gyms. I call them friends still.
Yeah, if you're in my life, you're my friend because if I'm talking to you.
Yeah, and it's so weird. Both him and what's her name, McCarthy? No, Mac. The EMT chick who didn't have any friends. They used the word acquaintances.
Well, in this situation too, because yeah, you can have acquaintances. Obviously, there's people I know that I don't socialize with all that much, but it's different when you're working with the person, you're going out to drinks with the person, like you're spending time with them, you have their phone number, you know where they live. It's a really big difference.
Yeah, you're correct, Linda. And welcome to another Dane. Jen McCabe wouldn't have tried to do so much if her daughter or husband weren't involved. Jen told Proctor Karen did it. Proctor went after Karen. Jen told Karen she did it. Proctor make it fit. I think a lot of things was discussed when Jen McCabe was the good aunt who came over with donuts that morning. It was so bad the police officers couldn't drive to the scene, but she could drive for donuts, and not Jen McCabe. Who was it who came with the donuts?
Julie.
Julie Albert. I think when she came over there, they had a powwow. Those donuts were used to frame Karen Reed.
On several occasions, yes.
Socializing acquaintances, right?
On several occasions.
No, they specifically mentioned a cold case he was working on.
So
For
you
several
told the jury a
months.
few minutes ago that you were aware of and knew of, but didn't have relationships with 3 Alberts, Julie, Chris, and Colin. Not quite true, is it?
Objection.
Sustained.
There's a 4th Albert out there, isn't there? Yeah.
He's waiting for the objections.
Mhm.
Every time he gets a question, he is really holding back, waiting for Lally to come with an objection.
Right?
Yes.
But you didn't tell us about that one,
Objection.
I'll allow it.
correct?
Look, he keeps quiet so Lally have time to object every time.
I don't consider that a relationship. It's
Well, let's look at that. 5 months into this investigation, and
We don't know which cold case, but he talks about a cold case they worked on, and that's when the incident happened. They also said it happened roughly 2 years ago, so that would line up with that. It wouldn't line up with the Birchmore trial case, which isn't a cold case because they have closed that case, deemed it a self-deletion.
July of 2022, you were actually continuing to socialize with Kevin Albert, weren't you?
yes.
On July 19th, 2022, you and Kevin Albert went out drinking together, didn't you? Chipper Proctor, I'm not asking to look for anything in the binder at this point. I'm asking for your memory.
I don't recall that.
You don't recall the date, or you don't recall,
July 19th, 2022.
you don't recall the drinking?
The date itself, sir.
Why don't we turn to tab 13?
Yes, sir.
Do I have a number or a letter?
We're still in tab 13. Are we still in tab 13?
All right, so what page, Mr. Jackson?
Page 2602. May I?
Yes.
Thank you. Trooper Proctor, are you on 2602?
I am.
The fact of the matter, does that refresh your recollection that on July 19th, 2022, you and Kevin Albert have been out drinking together?
And he's really slow at reading because he needs to think about what comes as the next question. So he's reading ahead to see what's oh, I can take the pen off. See what else comes up that he has to lie about.
It does.
In fact, the two of you got so drunk that Kevin Albert left his badge in your cruiser and couldn't find his gun the next morning, right?
Objection.
Overruled.
I can't speak to any level of intoxication, but I don't recall either of us being intoxicated.
Got it. So isn't it true that at 7/20, July 20th, 2022, the day after at 8:39 in the morning, you texted Kevin Albert, quote, "Found your badge in my cruiser this morning," end quote, correct?
Yes.
Then you texted him, "I can leave it in my locker at the gym, drop it off at your station, or leave it in my mailbox, correct?
Correct.
Kevin Albert responds, my mailbox. Did I take my gun? And then included a wince face emoji, correct?
Correct.
So the fact of the matter is, you two got so drunk that he couldn't find his badge and had to ask you the next morning where his gun was, right?
Again, I can't speak to any level of intoxication, whether he just forgot it. I don't
I'm
know.
not asking you about his BAC trooper proctor. I'm asking, have you seen drunk people before?
Yes.
You've been drunk before.
Yes, I have, sir.
We've all been drunk before, right?
Yes.
Was he drunk? Were you drunk that night?
I don't recall. It was a long time ago.
But he left his badge in your cruiser after a night of drinking. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Which means you were drinking and driving in your cruiser. Right?
From what I remember, we were down the Cape working on the cold case together and stopped for dinner, had a few beers, and then dropped him off.
The next morning, Kevin Albert also texted you at page 2606. Starting with it's bad. Tell me when you see that.
Okay, see it.
Then I may publish.
Jamie, notice my Danish friend here in chat. It's not only I who hates the Swedish.
Oh, jeez. God.
Yes.
2606, please. Kevin Albert responded, it's bad, exclamation point, exclamation point. I was hungover for sure today, exclamation point, exclamation point. Couple tonight to make me feel good, end quote. Correct?
Correct.
You can take that down.
And that's why Kevin Albert is now on vacation indefinitely.
Yeah. Doesn't look so
It's
good. buddy.
again, we're dealing with police officers who get so hammered they lose their weapon. And have to text their buddy, did I forget my gun and badge in your car?
Right?
I really hope that that they're proud of themselves. Because if I was paying for this S show, I would be livid, and I would demand heads to be rolling, and that's why I find it so funny that I did my video this morning about this hearing and this case, and I was thinking, Jesus, you need a good cleanup crew in the MSP, the CPD, and the DA's office. And then I see Kathy Daffy, who we know has ties to the DA's office, out there saying, well, Morrissey has been investigated for a long time and they never found any problems with him. So people shouldn't be so mean to him.
She's ridiculous.
It's such a... They know how bad it is now. They lost another guy who now have to be on leave. How bad is it? How before it's cleaned up, how bad will it get? Rafferty, was she at the Sally in the Sally port? Is she next to get the finger pointed at her? We're talking about the obvious people like Morrissey, Proctor, the Alberts, but Chief Rafferty, she ran that department in Canton. Why didn't she make sure her police officers stayed out of it. I know she was an interim chief at that point, but it's still her job.
Exactly.
And so that's, I don't know, this can be really, really bad before it gets better.
It's crazy to see stuff like this. Like for it to be so out there like this. I mean, we all know people are doing shady things all the time, but it's really crazy.
Yeah, this is the more that comes out, the more we hear about it, the worse it gets. Because again, I thought they had a bad the Higgins and Proctor, they probably knew each other for a little too long, and then they got some bad habits, and that happens if you have it's if you have a bad management, and Berkowitz was a bad police chief. No ifs and buts about it. But as I've stated many a time, a fish rots from the head. So when you have a bad leader, I bet you the next leader who comes in has all those bad traits that the previous leader had, because they didn't get someone from the outside. They took someone in-house who's been a part of that bad workplace climate. It's I think if they don't get out there and start making heads roll, this would get really, really bad. Gina Gomez, many things rotten in Boston. It seems Massachusetts has a big corruption problem, allegedly, in Minecraft. Don't sue me.
No, for real though.
I wonder if the drinking and driving was part of Proctor's investigation and suspension. Couldn't be, because they can't prove that he was drinking and driving. I didn't think it could get worse, but it keeps getting worse and worse the more it comes out. Yeah. Yeah, that's the big problem.
Well, I just think that this light being shed on all of this is just making a big difference, because I bet you these people have been doing, I mean, they've been doing this for it's probably been going on before the beginning of time. Like, and they're just allowed to act this way and conduct themselves this way, and no one says anything differently. And now people are noticing, and it's out there. And
yeah, that's that's why when people, as someone said in jest in a comment today, that why do you care? You don't know him. No, but everyone should care about this, because again, it's a tragic John O'Keefe isn't here anymore. It's a simple hit and run case. Why did it take 8 weeks? Because so many of the wrong people are involved in it. And all of those people, it's like the whiteboard with all the red strings on it. All of those people know all the right people. And if you start talking in one of those red strings, the whole card house is going to fall. And Kevin Albert was also in the Sally Port, and he kept telling Proctor, if you need our interrogation room or stuff like that, we can we can make it happen for you. They didn't recuse themselves.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's been on leave from the day after Proctor said he got so drunk that he left his gun in his car. So that's not supposedly, that's the truth, because that's what they said in the meeting. How do Denmark and Sweden feel about Finland? That's fine. We don't talk much about them. Finland isn't really part of Scandinavia. Brian Albert was drinking at the waterfall and then drove his family home in his work vehicle. Well, everyone was drinking, and that's another thing. People are saying, well, everyone should be charged with a DUI. Well, the same rules apply as applied for the DUI with Karen Reed. You can't prove it. You have their testimony, but you can't prove they were above the limit. So you can't do anything about it other than say, yeah, they're a-holes for going out drinking.
Yeah, nothing was proven in that aspect.
Thank you, Jane. Finns are really, really great at a winter war. Yes. No, because well, the only people who can get them in trouble, and that would be only if the feds want to do anything. Because in this case, it would have to be Morrissey who wanted. It's the same. People were saying, well, perjury charges are coming. No, because perjury charges would have to be pressed by Morrissey. So Jen McCabe can lie however much she wants on the stand, because the one who have to indict her with perjury is the DA's office.
Yeah.
The DA's office who protects her. It will never happen. Never, ever. All of you who started watching trials because of this trial, you have to learn that a lot of DAs and a lot of officers makes sweetheart deals with a lot of bad people to get some even worse people behind bars. If you don't believe me, go watch my playlist about Adam Montgomery. One of the biggest scumbags in the world, but his girlfriend got to walk just so she could rat on him. And she had just as dirty fingers in the disappearance of that poor little 5-year-old.
Sure did.
Yeah. Higgins needs to be on the chopping block next. It's him that caused John to pass, and Chloe caused all the clawing. Well, I want to know. Be my girl. This is the local police that took care of Kevin Albert. The Massachusetts State Police took care of Proctor. Higgins works for the feds. Why isn't the feds doing anything about him? I don't know. I know there's tons of rumors out there about he made a deal and but we saw him testify. He made absolutely no deals that went against this entire story. I know there was a lot of people talking about, well, he made a proffer so he could spill the beans. He spilled no beans. There was no magical FBI interference other than the ARCA guys and that police report.
Yep.
The feds are the ones who should get rid of Higgins. When will that happen? That's going to be the interesting one, because now the local and the state police have started cleaning house. Will the feds clean house? That's going to be interesting to see.
We'll see.
You won't hear anything from the feds until either you have a trial or they don't want to do anything. No, he didn't act like an ATF agent, but no one in this case acted like the role they had. And that's why when people are sitting there and saying, well, Proctor just used bad words as you do. Yeah, I use a lot of bad words because I'm a stupid YouTuber. I'm not a police officer. I can't take your freedom away. Your state haven't given me a badge and a gun. I actually can't carry a gun in your state. So I can call people the C words. I won't do it, but I could. I don't have the power of the state behind me.
That's
So all these
scary to
people
have somebody like that on your police force so close-minded like that. You know, I mean, they can destroy people's lives in a split second.
Well, Higgins testified a 6-foot tall guy walked into the house. Did that change anything?
I don't even think anybody like realized he said that.
No. It's if Higgins had done a deal spilling the beans, he would have said John O'Keefe entered the house at 12:32. This trial is a sham. Lally, you should be ashamed of yourself. But he didn't. He took the stand. He fought every single word. He lied about his car. He lied about plowing the driveway. He lied about everything. He lied about his administrative moving cars at the police station. He didn't sign any piece of paper. Maybe he signed a piece of paper because he had so much other bad crap in the past that they didn't do anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see the feds have gotten to him yet. And if he's still getting a government paycheck, I would be very angry the next time I pay my taxes. Yeah, that's the big problem with. I've always said when you fire someone in at higher administrative level, in we fired some people because we had a lot of kid cases that was not going too well, and I said those people, because they got a new job in the next city over, and said, how the hell don't they look at their paper and say, well, this city fired them, they might not be good enough to have this job? Nope. You can only fail upwards if you're paid by the taxpayers. No, because there are no Karen Reed haters. They're Turtle Boy haters. No one out there really hates Karen Reed, in my opinion. They hate Turtle Boy. The rest, the mouthpieces for the DA's office, are the people who all of a sudden started talking about how bad Karen Reed was when they started covering this trial. They're just as big a grifter as I am. They're doing it because there's a lot of views in it. There's a lot of attention about this case. And they saw, well, there's 20 people covering Karen Reed is innocent. I'll go to the other side so I get that audience. That's how you do it. Aussie!
Hey, Aussie.
Yeah, but they'll still have to charge them, and I'll bet a buck ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think the best way to get to the bottom of this would be to put the screws on Michael Proctor. He is the guy they called to make this go away. Him and Tully
Mm-hmm.
are the guys I would get to. Tully is protected. They don't have enough bad stuff on him. But I would put the screws on Michael Proctor. He's going to lose everything. And the Alberts, they're going to turn their back faster than John O'Keefe spun in the air, according to Trooper Paul.
God. And we all know perjury charges are actually, it's very difficult to really get somebody on that. And they
Yeah.
really have to want to. And I don't believe they're going to do anything about it because these are their witnesses. These are their people.
Yeah.
They're defending them to a T, just like everything they have. So why would they turn around and be like, do all that? I don't see that ever happening.
Clicking the mouse all I can. Lizzie got her gift. Well, she didn't get it. Her husband being home. But that's corruption. Just saying, don't give me it, give it to me, give it to my wife. It's like watching one of those old school gangster movies from the 30s. where, well, here's a gift for your kids. It's corruption either way. If Proctor feels betrayed by the force, possibly he could return. I think he will feel more betrayed because the Alberts are gonna um, they're gonna circle the wagons now. They have to protect themselves. Kevin Albert has now been outed. Brian Albert has no power anymore. He's a retired cop. Brian Higgins tried to get on the fire department but was turned down. They only have Chris Albert back as the only one in power now because he's a member of the select board. I don't know if you could do you can force a revote on people like that, but if he loses his power, that family is really effed. And who are they going to protect first? Their own. They are not going to fight for Proctor.
Oh yeah.
Only for the parts related to the grand jury, but Proctor lied to the grand jury, and so did Jen McCabe, according to the transcripts. Yeah. But I think that was what we had today. Jamie, what are you doing Saturday at 6 p.m.?
6 p.m. on Saturday?
Yeah, that's Saturday, 6 p.m.
I don't know what's going on at 6 p.m. on Saturday.
You're not doing it well. You're in bed at that time. I know that. Because I don't know if you know it, but I reached 10,000 subscribers.
Oh, you're doing a little stream for 10,000?
Yeah, and because people are always doing these, well, I got this and that, and then we're gonna do something stupid. So I thought, nah, let's do something different. So I'm thinking about Saturday at 6 p.m. I'll try and get some guests on. Oh, thank you so much, Julie Bastidi. Well, we're trying to do as good as possible. But I thought maybe I should give back to this lovely community I have around me.
Yeah.
So I've been out all day trying to pick up some things. So Saturday at 6 p.m. I will be doing some giveaways. This will be one of the things I'll be giving away.
Oh, the giveaways are so much fun.
And I got a box of this one.
Oh.
And people are always asking me about Northern mythology. So I found an English a book, an English texted book, a book written in English is the word I'm looking for. And because we Danish people are the happiest people in the world, I found the book of the little book of Hygge, talking about how we are so and how you become happy. And of course, these are called a optimist, which means it's making fun of optimism and jumping. It doesn't work in English, but this a Danish flag one that we used for our to support our national team. So you should try and watching my stream on Saturday, Jamie. You could win some on it.
Oh my gosh.
I know you don't watch.
Did you
my
tell
streams,
me
but
about this or something and I forgot? Or did you just decide to do this? Because you didn't say anything, I swear to God.
no, I didn't say anything, Jamie. I just said to you should try watching Saturday at 6 p.m. if you wanna
Oh, okay.
win any of these giveaways, because I know you don't watch my show. Thank you so much, Holly Mac, and thank you for being one of the 10,000. Yeah, hygge culture is nice. It's a lot about sitting inside, being cozy, and drinking alcohol. It's not a big bobblehead. It's a bobblehead. Our football supporters are called hooligans. Instead of hooligans, it's hooligans, which mean calm. I don't know what gans means. So those are. But I thought we'll do a little giveaway so people could, instead of us YouTubers, all, then I can tell Plevin that I'm not grifting. I'm actually giving it back to the community. We did talk
Well,
about it yesterday at Discord, but she doesn't listen.
I wasn't there until later.
No.
So yeah.
So that's if any of you don't have any other plans on Saturday at 6 p.m., you should come back because it's about giving back because you give us so much attention and so much love. So
Mhm.
it's I had to figure out to send it to someone in a big package and they can ship it out. Marissa, I'll figure it out. So yeah.
Or Marissa.
No, I'm gonna send it to Jamie. Thank you so much, Holly. And well, it doesn't look like a baker because, as you can clearly see, and I can find it again. It's a Danish flag. A Danish flag.
The ears, it's like little ears. Those are Danish
No,
flags, right?
it's actually because when we were participating in the World Cup in Mexico, they made a cap with two hands on that could clap.
Oh, okay, I
So-
see. Yep, I see the little thumbs. Never mind.
So that's what it's symbolizing. But it's one of those things that you bring people if you're from Denmark. Oh,
Does
and
he
by the
clap?
way, I think Tom believes you're my wife.
Who?
Tom.
Our Tom?
No, Tom, you don't know. Someone came in and said, Tom says hi to you and your wife. So that must be you.
News to me. But yay.
Well, JC, we got kicked out fast, so don't worry about it. Well, it is a slinky in the middle because it can kind of like a bobblehead. But I don't know. Turtle Boy is supposedly having a day in court tomorrow. Last time it wasn't streamed. I have a court date tomorrow on the right side of the bench, not the wrong side. But if it's possible to show it, we will show it. If not, we'll probably be back with something else. And other than that, we don't really have anything planned before Saturday, but something will pop up as it did today. And we will go out there and try and give you some entertainment because you're good
Yeah.
people.
And I'm sure we'll find a smaller trial to do.
Yeah,
There's always something popping up.
we try to do something fun.
Hmm.
Exactly. I just had one with Valhalla a month ago. You hosted a Danish exchange student. He bought your Amber. Well, this is way cheaper than Amber. So yeah. Portal YouTube Runkle, but Runkle isn't live, and I'm not sure Runkle.
It's
hasn't got
10:30.
he hasn't got a
At
stream
10.
set up because I was trying to have it going long enough that he might be
I
live.
thought I saw it this morning. It said 10:30.
I'll try and look for it.
Yeah. Because I was kind of looking to see who was streaming it today, just for to see.
Yeah, it's supposed to start. Well, keep yapping for 2 more minutes so we can send them over.
I mean, people are still chatting, so
Yeah, but yeah, I will direct you over to Runkle, and all of you say hi. That's Canadian for hi, Jamie.
yeah, say hi
So
from Baker. But yeah, don't forget about Saturday if you're just coming in again. Baker's gonna do a giveaway. Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
you
Is
need
when you're doing it.
Yeah, that will be midnight my time. So I thought I'll go like 6 to 8. Invite some guests
Okay.
on. Just have a fun. Check my subs. I don't have
Yeah.
subs. I had a råbrød.
You're almost at
That was a food
11,000.
joke, Jamie. My subs. Oh, I passed 11,000. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, yay. Shut up,
So
Sean.
I'll try and see if I can find one more gift then, because that's another one we have to find. Hey, Brown Eyes. A boot is what Canadian people say. And now I think it's time for a little Runkle show. What?
I was just
You're about
saying,
to say
J. Ray
something?
said, invite all of my favorites. Who are all your favorites?
Yeah, who be thy favorites? That's probably not all who want to come to a show, just sit there and say, well, congratulations. And Rolling Stone has her painting that she
Why
won.
not?
Hey, 13 Kings. That was a okay movie.
Hey, Rolling Stone.
No, that was 3
Aw.
Kings. It wasn't 13.
I love that Rolling Stone has your painting on the wall.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah, well, we are neither. That's why we're shipping you over to Runkle, because even though you're not interested in the case, Runkle will make it entertaining. And thank you all again so much for showing up. And hopefully we'll see you at least Saturday at 6 p.m. Ciao now.
Bye.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100% correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Go
right, I'm in love.
back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No,
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
no,
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.